And we welcome you to the Alderson's Awards West postgame show. For trophies, awards, t-shirts, and so much more, head over to aldersons.net for their full catalog. I'm Tyler Hergert, joined alongside me this evening, Tim Luce, and we saw the Camas Papermakers win 33-14 over the Lincoln Abes, and it was a message that we have talked about all night long, the fact that it was a lot closer than what the scoreboard would indicate. Lincoln really held in there till the very end, but Camas coming up with a lot of key turnovers throughout the game, towards the end, in the middle, even to begin the game. That kind of really made things put it over the top here for the Papermakers.
Yeah, 100%. Lincoln, the scoreboard doesn't, and we've said it all game, Tyler, and at risk of beating a dead horse here, but the Lincoln Abes really did show up tonight and played exceptionally well on both sides of the ball. It's just unfortunately the scoreboard wasn't able to reflect the same amount of effort. Lincoln put forth a great job tonight with the connections between Kanoa Taplasi and Sione Keho. Both of them had a stellar first half. We saw them kind of switch pace a little bit in the second, not targeting Taplasi as much, but finding more rhythm with Ramon Jones and Emmanuel Jordan. We saw a lot of Emmanuel Jordan in the second half for Lincoln. The kid is insanely fast, 150-pound junior, and he moves like he's featherweight, just insanely fast once he's got the ball. And just unfortunate that Lincoln couldn't put more points up on the board, because in my opinion it was a very even game. I think at one point you said they both shared the same amount of third-point conversions tonight. And I mean, that to me is a true testament on what Lincoln actually brought to the field. They're maintaining third down conversions the same as the team that's beating them. They're just unable to get in the end zone tonight.
Yeah, Camas didn't pick up a first down for their final 4 drives. Now, obviously, the last one was a couple of kneel downs, so we're not going to hold that against them. So their final 3 drives, technically. Lincoln having 16 first downs as opposed to Camas's 12, and the majority of the Camas first downs came in the first half and then on that final touchdown drive for the Papermakers. So, again, the defense for Lincoln, like you mentioned, they played really well. We talked all night about Dracio Fatawi, but also that defensive line, Brad Amsden, Vinny Mayava, Anthony Mancow, and James Ngoja for the Lincoln Abes. They were dynamite, but also Camas's defensive line, Spencer Purley, Luke Webb, Sawyer Clifton, Aiden Jones. We didn't talk about them enough during this game, but they really kind of caused some havoc there in the backfield for Lincoln, and they really kind of threw off a lot of passing opportunities that the Abes might have been able to convert on had they not been so stout.
Absolutely. We saw a lot from Ronan Loop as well from the Camas. It's primarily in kick return, doing a great job at the front line there. A couple key plays for him. And then we also saw, Gabriel Flores doing a great job on the line, the big number 60 down there. I saw him on both sides of the ball playing O and D. Anytime you can get out there as a lineman, it's a tough job, and you're playing both sides of the ball. That's a true Ironman at its best.
Let's go over the scoring in this one. Camas, they got this party started with a 5-play, 61-yard drive, capped off with a 40-yard touchdown pass from Jake Davidson to Jack McDonald that really set the tone. It was a punt from Lincoln, then an interception that Camas threw, a fumble from Lincoln, and Camas was able to go on a 12-play, 64-yard drive. That was capped off with a touchdown pass from Jake Davidson to Chase McGee. It was a 3-and-out for the Abes, and then after that, another touchdown pass from Davidson to Jack McDonald, this time 26 yards. That opened up a 20-0 lead early in the second quarter. Lincoln, they were able to move the ball after that. They put together an 18-play, 80-yard drive, but it was a penalty that ended up moving them up to 4th and goal from the 3, but it was an interception on a little pop pass that ended up ending that drive. Camas, they weren't able to do much as the Abes stopped them, and then probably the turning point of the game is when Sione Cajo on the final play of the half gets stopped about a foot short of the goal line. And that play ended up really hurting them because they got the ball to begin the second half, but they weren't able to utilize that momentum that they had to end the first half. Camas goes down and score after 3 straight incompletions that Lincoln had after they picked up a first down. It was a 13-play, 86-yard drive, ending with a touchdown from Nico Spear. He caught a pass from Jake Davidson over on the far side. Lincoln, they were able to get into the end zone, though. It was a 1-yard run from Sione Cajo. But once again, Jake Davidson, he found Titan Brody on a 51-yard catch and run on a halfback screen. Right after that, really cementing things for the Papermakers. But as to be expected, the Lincoln Abes, they're not going to go down without swinging. It was Jadion Cranton. He was able to plunge his way into the end zone from 4 yards out, giving us the final score of 33-14. As we're going to hand out our game MVP, brought to you by our friends at Cole Health Pediatric Therapy. Your child is unique, and so are we. Experience the Cole difference at colehealth.com. Well, we had an interesting back and forth conversation about who could be the MVP, and we rattled off about 5 or 6 different guys for Camas. Jake Davidson with those 5 touchdown passes. Jack McDonald even with 2 receiving touchdowns, really setting the tone early. Titan Brody having a spectacular game and that 51-yard screen to really cement things. You could even give it to the whole defensive line for Camas with the Spencer Purley, Luke Webb, Sawyer Clifton, and Aiden Jones. Bo Harlan as well had a great game, but we're going to give it to Nico Spear. 2 interceptions, a receiving touchdown as well. Those plays were really clutch. He had that pick right at the end there that really cemented the game. But the interception earlier in the third quarter and that touchdown too, that really put Camas over the top, 27-0. That's a really tough lead to overcome.
Yeah, I agree with you. Nico Spear having a bang-up night, particularly here in the second half for Camas. The goal where he scampered in from the 3 or the 4 yard line up there on the far side there, that was beautiful. He just has a great size about him and great ability at the same time. He had a ton of IQ to display tonight, catching balls that were deflected and a couple, the turnover with the interception, just great wherewithal, a great athlete, and I'm sure appreciated by the entire Camas sideline.
And on the other side for Lincoln, Dracio Fatawi, unbelievable athlete. He was all over the place for the Lincoln Abes, the star linebacker. James Ngoja had a really good night. We talked about Anthony Mancow quite a bit. On the offensive side, Emmanuel Jordan, especially in the second half, how quick he was running. Kanoa Taplasi had some big catches early, and Jadion Scranton too. So a lot of great plays made from both sides. As Tim, do you have any final thoughts before we wrap this one up?
Tonight was just a case of better late than never, I guess you could say, for the Lincoln Abes. And I had a mentor tell me once when I first started out in leadership, he said, nope, better never late. And maybe that's the lesson that the Lincoln Abes are going to get in the locker room tonight. You guys did a great job. You played 100% throughout the game. You didn't get your points on until later in the game. We got to start putting points on earlier in the game. But all in all, a great game played by Lincoln. Once again, the scoreboard doesn't reflect that. Camas, a wonderful team, bringing their tried and tradition up from the southern part of the state, and performing exceptionally well tonight. So hats off to both teams. I really look forward to see what Lincoln does later in the season and what turns around for them.
Lincoln dropping to 1-2 on the year. They'll take on Gig Harbor next week. Camas improves to 3-0. They will take on Oregon City next week. So that's going to do it for our broadcast. Thanks to everybody here at the Lincoln Bowl, both coaches, both ADs as well, for helping make things possible for us to stream this so smoothly to you. Of course, thanks to our great sponsors as well who help make this possible. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do it. The best way to thank those sponsors is to patronize those businesses. So once again, the final score, 33-14. Camas wins this one over Lincoln. For Tim Luce, I'm Tyler Hergert, signing off for the evening. Hope you have a great and safe weekend, and we'll see you next time on the Eli Sports and NFHS Networks.